Good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you are. Carl
Hey
Schmidt, your
Carl, how you
business
doing?
coach. I'm joined with Connor Jewett, Campett Group. Thanks for joining me, Connor. It's great talking to you. I think we just have a little bit of fun conversation. Let's start out with your business and Campett Group, and I'm sure people in where we're located, right, in New Jersey, have seen the evidence of some of your work.
I'm
But
sure
just
they
tell
have and they
us,
don't even realize
and didn't even realize it, right? Didn't even know.
it.
But tell us a little bit about the story behind Campit Group and kind of
Sure,
where you guys have come and where you're going.
sure. So we are a commercial general contracting firm, general contracting, construction management. We were started in 2013 by my father. He had, at the time that he started this business, he had about 35 plus years experience working for, another slightly larger general contracting firm, and at some point just wanted to go off on his own. I was in college at the time, and I ended up joining him in 2016. I did something else for a little while, and then he gave me an opportunity. I haven't looked back since. When we first started, he had a partner. He ended up buying the partner out 4 years into us being in business. And at the time, we were doing about $2 million of revenue a year. Now we're doing close to $10 million of revenue a year. And we still are really like a small family operated construction company in a lot of ways. We're trying to grow, but we really want to keep that kind of really personalized aspect of our business that kind of sets us apart from a lot of people. So that's what we do is all sorts of construction projects in the commercial space. We do a lot of retail, medical offices, corporate offices. We could do building interiors, exteriors, car dealerships. Uh,
Dealerships, okay.
yeah.
I've seen
Um,
some of your retail stores and I've seen some of the dealership work, and I think you've done some salons too, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you've
Okay.
seen salons by JC, they're kind of popping up all over the place. It's one of those salon suite concepts. We've done two of them. We're looking at getting started on a third one for salons by JC. We've also done another similar concept called Bellagio Salons. They're down in Matawan, New Jersey. Those are great projects for us. They're pretty involved and a lot of plumbing work, a lot of electrical work, and we really have a system down that we hope to get a lot more of those projects in the future.
I would imagine, and I don't want to take you off track here, but I imagine there's a whole lot of HVAC type stuff too that you guys have to do. That seems to me, I'm hearing this from kind of like other clients, that a lot of people trying to get update on their equipment and get their, you know, aging equipment and less energy efficient equipment and get some corrections done on that. You do a lot of that kind of mechanical.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we subcontract out pretty much all the work. We're mostly a management firm. I do have a crew of carpenters, but as far as HVAC goes, I'm doing a big project right now, actually, for the BMW corporate headquarters in Woodcliff Lake. We do a lot of their work. We're replacing a bunch of smaller split systems, but about 20 of them throughout a couple of their buildings. And that's something that sets us apart from just a small HVAC contractor or just another direct trade of HVAC. They can give a price to do the HVAC work, but the customer has to consider, who's going to open up the ceilings for them, who's going to patch it all back up, who's going to coordinate the electrician and the roofer to come patch any penetrations through the roof. And that's really what we do. And that's kind of what gets us into those opportunities is because we offer the customer a turnkey solution. So we're hiring all the correct subcontractors and coordinating that whole project.
Right. That actually kind of leads me right into the next question about,
Mhm.
what is it that makes you guys unique? What is that? And maybe you also want to share kind of your vision, mission, and culture, which
Yeah.
I think so. Why don't you have at that?
Sure. So I think what sets us apart from what I've come to figure out on my own is that, in the space that we're in, commercial construction, I mean, it's a little bit more niche than the residential. It's different. There's definitely things that differentiate it. And in the commercial space, you have a lot of small, kind of one-man show general contractors. And I'm experiencing something with this right now where a customer had a guy like that and they basically fired him and they're looking to hire us now for a lot of reasons. You have small one-off guys that they get overwhelmed and they stop answering their phone for a good client, or they just kind of get back to people when it's convenient for them because they can't keep up with it. And sure, they might be cheaper initially, but then it's hard to keep that relationship for a lot of the customers with a GC like that. Then you have larger GC firms that are, regional or national or international, um, that their small projects are $20 million and up. Um, and your average small business owner or small office, they're not looking for a contractor like that. They kind of need someone in the middle. And that's really what sets us apart, is that we really cater towards small businesses, which, we could do a small fit out. We could do a, 1,200. I just did a 600 square foot chocolate shop in the train station in Jersey City for a small business owner. We could do small projects like that, fit out a space for a new business owner that's leasing a space, and we can also do much larger ground up construction of a larger commercial building. And on the in between, we could come into we a lot of our work is existing buildings, and we'll come in and renovate office space, build out new conference rooms, update the whole space. We've redone the showroom inside of a few car dealerships locally. So we really are in a nice middle spot where, we're bigger than your small guys, so you're getting better service, and we're pricing more competitively because we have a bigger net of subcontractors, but we're also not so big that the customer, especially being that a lot of them are small business owners, the customer is not disconnected from, you know, the upper levels of our company. My father and I and my whole team of project managers, we pretty much create a direct line of communication with our clients so that during any step of the project, they feel like they're part of it and they can reach out to us with anything at any point during the project, and we take care of them.
Right. So there's really a spot for you guys to fill because I can imagine I'm thinking back about some of my past experience and previous lives and also clients. So there's a lot of companies out there that might want to grow and might want to expand or want to renovate, but they have to pay attention to their core and doing their business. And there's economics of them having, I've been had the chance to be in some big companies where we had architectural project managers and construction project managers and everything else. But then you had also companies just aren't big enough to afford that all the time, and they're not doing 40 projects a year all the time, keeping those people busy. They're doing one project a year or two a year or something, and they need that expertise that you guys can bring without having to carry that cost of all that expertise you have all year long. So great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, exactly the structure you just mentioned, that creates a lot of overhead for a construction company. And a small business owner that, let's say you have someone that, for example, we did a gym, someone that goes off and they want to open up a new gym and it's a new business venture for themselves. They don't have the money to go spend on some huge construction firm and all these different consultants and everything. So you hire us and we really kind of help put all those pieces together, and we get creative during the construction process too, with value engineering to really keep in mind the owner's best interest for cost and achieve the end result that they're looking for.
Great. Interesting stuff, really, because I can't imagine that they could overhead. I'm not saying overheads a bad word, but I'm really in my frame of reference working with clients. Overhead is the kind of thing you very cautiously guard and do not grow your overheads because for a small business that is coming right out of profit.
Absolutely.
If your overheads are
Absolutely.
kept low and everything is built around what your cost of sales are, guess what? More money can be dropped to the bottom line. So cool.
Exactly. It's one of the hardest things to navigate.
Would you like to, I mean, pick out a project? Is there a specific success story you want to talk about? Something you want to share with everybody?
Sure. I could actually kind of think of two that are in different ends of the spectrum. So one project we completed, it was a few years ago, but it's still just such a visible project. Because a lot of our work ends up being small little retail spaces or internal work inside of existing buildings. But a couple years ago, we had the opportunity to build out the new location for Tile Bar, um, the showroom for a retail showroom for a tile store. Um, they're based out of Manhattan. They were looking to expand and create another retail showroom location. We got connected with them. We did the whole build out. It's in Paramus on Route 17, right by Midland Ave. Anytime I mention that to somebody, they know exactly what I'm talking about because during that construction progress process, everyone wanted to know what was going in there because the building was vacant for a while. I mean, I drove past it for 3 or 4 years and it was completely empty. Now you go past it and there's a gorgeous building in its place. You'll see the big tile bar letters. We did a Ipe. Ipe is a Brazilian hardwood, like a rain screen on the front of the building. And it's a really unique looking building. It came out absolutely beautiful. It's kind of like a trophy for us. The project was a series of challenges, working in an existing older building, gutting it down to pretty much nothing. We had an asbestos abatement during that project when we were going to do some of the demolition, and it kind of gave us an opportunity to prove that we were able to handle a large job like that, the scale of it, all the challenges that it presented, and still deliver an absolutely beautiful project that people drive past all the time and recognize that building. And again, I grew up with a dad that worked in commercial construction. He built probably, 20% of the buildings up and down Route 17 between Ramsey and Paramus. So now I'm starting to have my own little portfolio that, I can drive past and see projects like that.
That's
Um,
really cool. No,
it
nobody
is.
drives by that building without noticing it.
Exactly. And that's kind of like it's just something I grew up being proud of. Like, hey, my dad built that building. My dad built now here I am. I'm still driving past those buildings and now I'm driving past buildings that I was a big part of running
Okay.
projects on. And then on the other end of the spectrum, BMW corporate, as I mentioned before, it's not a dealership, it's a multi-building campus in Woodcliff Lake. Um, we took on that account right when I joined the company, basically about 9.5 years ago, and I've been kind of running that account since. In that time, um, I've gone through so many different iterations of property managers there, um, different executive staff, and everything. And there's been a lot of change up there. And the one thing that has remained constant is Campett Group being their go-to contractor for all of their work. And that's everything as small as hanging TVs in conference rooms up to, capital improvement projects where we renovated the whole wing of one of the buildings. We rebuilt the CEO's office and the whole section of the office area where his staff sits in. Um, and we're just constantly doing work up there and being able to maintain a relationship with a large company like that is something that is really cool, but also just something that I'm proud of because it just shows that our quality of work and our ability to adapt and work with a large corporation like that is for basically 10 years is something that I'm proud of being able to achieve.
I think I'm going to jump ahead to another question now because I think you've kind of really led right into it. You made me think about it. But what is that? You have this approach that engenders that loyalty that gets people to say, "I'm not going anywhere else." Campit Group, we have a project. Call you up, help us out. So what are the things in your approach about um, delivering value and building trust? Can you pick out a couple of things that would really be? I mean, you talked about value engineering. Maybe that's one of them.
Hmm.
Communication. So what are those couple things that really are, the value add pieces that your clients really appreciate?
Sure. I mean, right off with delivering value and value engineering, they are tied in because oftentimes an architect designs a project. It's beautiful. It looks great on paper. They specify all the finishes. We give a budget for the project, whether we're the only bidder or we're going against other contractors. Oftentimes, the numbers across the board come back a little bit higher than what the customer was maybe anticipating to spend. I always reiterate to all my customers, be it the repeat work I get with BMW and new clients with new builds. Listen, if you want to work with me and my price isn't where it needs to be, come back to me first before you write me off because we will work with you. If I can see if there's any room to go back to my subcontractors and adjust the price and get it to where it needs to be, or even more ideal, if we really need to get the price down, we value engineer it. We can find alternative materials, alternative methods to building it that, as long as it gets approved by the owner and the architect, ultimately can save a lot. I mean, 10-20% of a project sometimes can be whittled off if you really sit down and value engineer it. Um,
Changing scope, for example, or modifying what you're trying to achieve.
exactly. Exactly.
Do
Changing
it in
scope,
phases.
modifying alternative material selections that you can get significantly cheaper than what was specified. So that helps a lot, and that goes into building trust with the clients too. Because I'll be transparent about, listen, I priced it up based off of the architectural drawings. This is what it's coming up at. If you're getting other contractors in a similar number, come back to me and sit with us. We will work with you, and we will find alternative options to get the same end result that you're looking for, but in a cost that is in line with your budget and what you were planning this project to cost.
Great. So that, I mean, kind of in nutshell, it's transparency and communication,
Absolutely.
right? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Communication is
Um,
something we're big with because you don't get lost with us that you would with a bigger contractor. Because even when I have a super and a project manager running the project together, we still like to keep the customers knowing who their direct line of contact is in our company, so that, like I said earlier, during the entire project process, they feel like the customer feels heard with any concerns that they have, that they can reach out to someone in our team and their concerns will be addressed.
what that whole idea, and I've heard this kind of horror story before. So to me, that is so important what you guys are doing. But the whole idea of that communication, there's nothing worse when you're trying to have a project done than if your key suppliers, contractors, whoever it is, go radio silence on you.
Mhm.
And that's just never going to be a successful approach. So I think you're really onto something there in the way you guys deal with that.
Of
Um,
course.
let's talk about in terms of your in business in general. What's one of the biggest challenges? General contracting, construction company, and have you come across anything that we've been able to, maybe the coaching has contributed to helping you solve some problems?
Absolutely. I mean, as business has been in operation for 13 years, I'm in my 10th year. I feel like every step of the way, it feels like we have growing pains and they never go away because we are consistently growing and a small business trying to keep overheads low. We've thrown a lot of brute force at
Right.
um, trying to get our work done between getting the leads, landing and getting the projects awarded, running the projects, and continuously working on the next and keeping that cycle going. Um, it's challenging, and it's challenging to know um, how I need to structure that with manpower. We haven't had a lot of structure. It's been, my father, we had another project manager initially, and now we've really started to grow, and we still haven't had a really clear structure defined. And since been working with you, you've identified that that is critical for us to start really growing and getting to the next steps is creating the structure and our org chart more or less. So everyone kind of knows what their role is. It's very clear and defined, and we have a process for things. And another big challenge is budgeting, um, which is something on the coaching aspect that we've been working on religiously for the last few weeks, is really trying to hone in our budget because again, we've gotten this far with a lot of brute force. Now we're starting to identify the problems that are creating the constant growing pains and trying to find a solution. And a big part of that solution is understanding our numbers very clearly so that we can use it to plan and project our revenues in the future, and we can use that to plan and project what we'll need in terms of resources, manpower, timing, everything else. So those have
Sure.
probably been our biggest challenges, and that's what we're working on a lot, and I think we're making a lot of progress.
Cool. Great. You hit all the highlights. You really did. I
Mhm.
mean, you will have to forgive me when I say this, and you've heard it probably before, but what got you here is not necessarily going to get you there, where you're trying to go, because you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect your results will be different, right? And it can be a daunting task to say, oh, well, we always did it this way, but now we have to change what we look at, what we focus on. So that's kind of maybe the next thing to kind of wrap up with is, have you got some focused goals for the next, couple of years? Have you got something and it's stuff that you think you feel like sharing at this point, where you say, yeah, I think we are going to become, um, and you can frame it any way you want to, but I like to get people to think of in terms of whatever that is, that destination, that my next step. Is it the number of projects you do? Is it the number of people you have employed? Is it the total size of your company? Is it the size of a big project that you get to do? Is it can we do a bigger project and be profitable doing it? So you got any focus goals that you want to share?
Absolutely. The simplest answer is my biggest goal is improving profitability.
Hmm.
Um, we've really exploded the revenue that we're able to handle as a small company. Like I said, 8 years ago, we were doing 10 million or 2 million. Now we're doing about 10 million. One thing I've realized with doing more revenue is it's more of a headache and more problems. And doesn't necessarily mean that you're more profitable. So
No.
last year, when I started really going down the rabbit hole of really growing and taking ownership in the business, I set this goal of, well, I want to be doing about 15 million revenue in the next 5 years. Um, but I've since kind of walked that back a little bit, and I really want to focus more on profitability, because if I could be doing the same revenue right now, 8 to 10 million, with higher profit margins, that's a sweet spot. That's definitely where I would like to be.
The thing that small business owners sometimes get enamored with is just, the top line, but it's what you get to keep that counts, right? And
Absolutely.
and profit is the it's, this is a saying I've heard many times before. Profit is the cost of staying in business, right? You have to be able to generate a profit, and you have to have a plan, and you have to, you know, manage your money in, manage your money out, manage everything. And then you have to be able to, keep some money and build a profit. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
And that
congratulations on
comes
you
back
guys.
to us that, yeah, I just want to mention, because that comes back to us really trying to dial in this budget, because I would like to increase our profitability without sacrificing our costs to our customers, and really just trying to do everything more efficiently.
Yeah. Well, you guys, and I think that's exactly the right approach. I think that's
Mhm.
great. But your repeat business depends upon that. The testimonials you've gotten from existing clients, the fact that some people are just they don't think twice before saying, pick up the phone, call Connor, call Peter, Campett Group, we got a project, right?
Yep,
It relies on that. And there's value. That's part of that whole value proposition of, what, if it doesn't play budget wise, doesn't fit the way we initially thought it was going to be, we know we can work with these guys, and they'll value engineer. They'll work with us. They'll get, they'll help us. They'll be like a great representative for us. Yeah, they're a general contractor. Yeah, they want to get paid for what they do, but they're going to work with us to help us get the project we want to get done. So cool.
exactly.
I think that's great. I think you're good at this.
Well, it's something I'm
Um,
comfortable with.
what, comfortable with what? Talking about this stuff?
Talking about the business, I mean,
It's like falling
I'm
off a
really
log
trying
for
to,
you.
yeah, trying to sharpen the goals and the vision, and keep that all on track.
It's funny. And I mean, I'm leading right into that whole idea of the coaching again, but you said brute force before about how you guys, and that's how a lot I feel in my experience is a lot of small businesses got their start with like brute force, like a lot of effort,
Of
and
course.
that's. the way it has to happen. You know, that's the guy wearing many hats. That's the in your business right up to your eyeballs. That's just all the stress and all the. But when you try to get bigger and bigger, it's the people, it's the team, it's the systems, it's all those things that will give you leverage that will allow you to do more, right, with less, and ultimately less stress and a better result, and then leads you right down the path of, gee, these raving fans, they're not just loyal customers or clients. They become like raving fans of, why would I think, I might want to put my toe in the water and check out everybody else, but man, I have a track record. Campett Group has given me a great performance, and I'll make sure I'm doing all my due diligence, but I know I can work with these guys. And what will they do? They get me a reasonable price. They get me top quality. They'll get me done on time. They'll communicate with me very well. All those unique selling proposition things, all those value adds that you guys do so well. So great.
Absolutely.
All right, Connor, I think we're running out of time. Thanks for talking to me.
All
Really
right.
appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you,
Connor
Carl.
Jewett, the
That's
Campett Group.
good talk.
If you
Yeah,
have a building
thanks.
you need building, right, give them a call. And I
Absolutely.
think you'll be really happy with the results. Thanks again.
Thanks. Take care.